Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, YouTube viewers. My name is Dennis Crosby, and we're up. It's Sunday morning. It's a beautiful morning. It's actually cool out, so winter is here. And speaking of change in the weather, it goes along with the topic that we're going to be talking about this morning. And the topic of this morning is that we're all good enough. You're good enough. And we seek so much validation we seek from outside of ourselves. So today we're going to rethink and we're going to think about some things that we let go by, and now we're going to understand what the meaning is and the significance of it. Um, so I'm going to give two examples. I'm going to give two stories, one for the women and one for the men. So for the women, the story is uh, a story that we're all familiar about. It's a princess, and she starts out, and the people around her are so jealous of her, so they treat her, some kind of way through that jealousy, and she ends up meeting a prince, and she lives happily ever after. So now I know that was fast, but now I'm gonna go to the men's story. It's uh, it's about a guy who let me see. Let me see the story. Okay, let me get this one right. This one is gonna be made up, so they don't make too many. But this is like based on a movie. So there's a woman, and this guy, he's going through everything to try to get this woman to notice him, and he's in love with this woman, and he ends up, he goes away, and so the woman never really gets to know how he feels, and he goes into the military, and then from the military he comes back, he swoops the woman off, and they live here happily ever after. So those are the two stories, but those are gonna I'm gonna come back to those. um, but in order for us to realize, that we have to wake up, there is no, taking this lightly, and there is no, just letting this pass by us because it's directly affecting us. Um, Socialization skills, the skills that we use to socialize in the world as adults, we form that at the age of 1 years old. Fact. 1 years old is when we process this. So you wonder why this ties into everything that I'm speaking about. Um, but I'm also going to explain how it affects the now, how that process affects now. Um, advertisement. Advertisement is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And if anyone, we all know about advertising, we know about marketing. It's more or less designed to, outthink the thinker, meaning to outthink you. And they've created algorithms. So even for people who don't use social media, these algorithms are still running, and they project things 24/7, as well as excuse me, when you're not using your phone is still listening. So that's how you get the pop-ups where you're like, man, I was thinking about that. No, you mentioned it somewhere along the line. You mentioned it within the past 24 hours. You mentioned it verbally. Your phone hears it, and now you're getting these ads. So now we know that how this works, and it's a form of manipulation. And again, we've used advertising, we use marketing, but the real word is manipulation. I'm going to manipulate you into buying something or taking on a certain perspective. Now, I'm going to go back to the first story of uh, the story that I gave for the women. And in that story, that's a true story. That's what every woman wants. It's something that's been projected ever since we were kids. But we know that that's just not true. It's just not true. And what they're not showing the women, you know, in these movies is what it takes to have that type of life, what it takes to be that type of wife, what it uh, means to achieve. that type of happiness. Now, to go back to the men's story, we think that, hey, that's a good story. We all want to go in. We want to be that hero. We want to rescue the women. And, on that side of the story, that's a rude awakening because you definitely got unexpected expectations because it just does not work, But, again, the it's the fact that they're not showing you how to attain that. And those are the things again that they blind us so that when we go along in life, these are the things that we're trying to find out and how to be. And uh, to go back to advertising and marketing and how these things work, we see it now happening outside of marketing. It's happening all the time. And I believe it's like 85% of a person's interaction is there's manipulation going on in some way, shape, or form. So, what I'm trying to say to everyone is, that we have to wake up to these things and we have to look at things for what they are. And then you say, as I would say, well, it's always like I'm watching for these things. No, what we're doing is we're reprogramming our subconscious so that this is second nature. Right now, the second nature that we are acting on is a second nature that we carry from childhood. And we're finding out that, some things make sense and some things don't make sense. But, we're continuously not being able to make sense out of these things. And what I'm saying is that, through refocusing and relearning and rethinking about how things are actually working, they reprogram your subconscious so that, when it does become second nature, it's like without thought, So things that we, give thought to, we stop giving thought to. Things that used to stress us, they don't even affect us. The things that mean stuff to us are focus. And, we still can live a happy life. Most of the time, like speaking for myself personally, I'm always in a good mood. I'm always happy. I'm always positive. So, it works. And the stress levels go down because again, like in all my videos, I explain how a lot of the things that we face, these things are programmed into us, and until we understand ourselves, we really are standing on shaky ground, and that's the key. All the manipulation in the world can come into your life, all the brainwashing in the world can come into your life, and it can affect you. But once you're sure of yourself, and think about that, if positive motivation is to make you aware of who you are as a person, and that leaves you vulnerable because now you know who you are. You think that people are going to change the way that they feel about you and walk away. So there you go. Now that's where you find out that you are good enough. You are good enough, and people are not going to walk away from you. And that's a misconception that we got because again, we go into those childhood rants where we're in disagreement with someone, and it's like childlike. So we don't do those things anymore, and because we don't do those things anymore, people will start dealing differently. They'll still do those things. We can't stop a person from being who they are, but it doesn't change us. And as time goes on, and I know this personally to work really, really well because it's working right now as we speak in my life, where, there's a person that is close, and it's a family member within the family. And, really, really close, but, we have a good relationship. But it's like whenever I say no, I get the full wrath. But the thing is, I don't respond. And, if she's listening, she can attest to it that I don't respond. And, time will go by and she'll say, hey, how you doing? And I just pick up from there. You know what I mean? Because I'm still firm in who I am. I'm still solid in my foundation. My foundation is getting stronger. But if you notice, the validation isn't to say, hey, look, I apologize, for, saying, no, I wish that I could have done it. No, no. And men, as well as women, stop doing it. Stop doing things when you're not wrong for something, don't apologize. I know it hurts because, I'm a good person just as well as you guys. You're good people. And, we want to make things easier. And again, it goes according to those two stories where both people want to be rescued. The princess wants to be rescued as well as the military guy. He wants to be rescued. And what I'm saying is we can't rescue anyone. We cannot rescue anyone unless you know yourself, unless you have love for yourself, unless you know yourself. And that's how we want people to come into our lives. We want people to come into our lives who respect us for being us, but never to look at us in a way and project how they think that we should be. And that's another key. We let people project to us what they think that we should be. Because a lot of these people we know since childhood. But who knows you better than you? So with this, I want to end this video and to say that you are good enough. And if corporations can spend billions of dollars every year to target just you, then you are valuable. And we have to stop looking outside of ourselves for validation, but we also have to open up our eyes, and we also have to become more and more honest with ourselves, especially in this day and this age. And for this week, before I leave, I want to continue to shed light, or shed our thoughts, to give thoughts, to the people and the fires. I believe it went up to 31 people. So prayers with them, who have lost their lives, and as young as a 1-year-old child. So, again, I'm always going to point, and there's other things, because you got people from different countries who are listening. So there's things going on in your own country. And if those are, leave a comment, and, we'll look into it, as well as send our prayers out, in any sense of the way that, we can show love to those people who can't reach physically. So with that, I'm starting my day. And it's actually a beautiful Sunday, nice mellow day. People are out on the trails, making their way and doing their thing. So let's all get up, and let's get strong, and let's do this together. So again, I want to say peace and blessings.